It's a new. I think it's a new feature of Zoom.
Yeah, it's,
Just so people can't do surreptitious recordings. Okay, so we're good to go now. Somebody's either sorting out papers on their desk, or it's hailstones somewhere. But maybe it's gone now. Maybe we'll have to mute if not. Anyway, let's press on. We're a little lighter on people this week. We've got 1 or 2 people away. Somebody's having a vaccination, and somebody's got their son across, so they've gone out for the afternoon. But they can catch up on the video, so no worries there. Great, let's begin. Bienvenidos. We're on lesson 28. Y ¿estás listo? Empecemos. ¿Qué tenemos esta semana? What have we got this week? We've got homework. We've got another example of another couple of goes at puedes decir. Some verb practice as usual. And today we're banging on about past tenses. I'm banging on about past tenses. We're going to do the past progressive or past continuous tense. I'm not sure if we'll get time to do a chapter of our book. Hopefully we will, and then we'll have a look at some homework for the coming week. Don't forget, there's no lesson next week. We've got it's half term, so we're taking a bit of a break, and we'll be back on I think it's June the 8th. I'll in a fortnight's time. So let's start with homework. So we had to complete these sentences using the verb that was given, but making a decision as to whether we should conjugate it in the imperfect or the preterite. So not always an easy decision. How do we get on? How did people find it? Okay. Hard, yeah. It's quite tough knowing which one to do. That's for sure. It definitely is. Yeah. But we'll push on. Let's see. I'm just looking at Mangalas at the top, and we seem to choose poor old Mangala every time.
No problem.
I think it's because you're generally one of the first in the class. Yeah. There you sit. So could you have a go at these sentences? Tell me what you got for them.
Okay. Ayer me acosté pronto porque estaba muy cansado.
That's good.
Bueno.
Yeah.
Ayer so preterite.
Yeah.
And physical state so
yeah.
Imperfect.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
That's bang on. We've got that trigger word, haven't we? Ayer. Which sort of gives you a big clue that it's in the preterite. Perfect. Yep.
Next one.
Mm-hmm.
Carry on.
Yeah. Yes, please, Mangala.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anais y Lucrecia vivieron un año en Colonia porque querían aprender alemán.
Perfect. Yeah.
Mi padre, cuando tenía 10 años, se cayó a la vía de tren, y
Then, yeah.
se rompió un brazo. Durante mucho tiempo no pudo escribir y a veces todavía le duele.
Perfect. Yeah, bang on. So we've got the imperfect to describe ages in the past, and the others
single
are
event.
single events, and they've obviously happened and gone. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Should we? You're doing so well. Do the first five. So two more. See if we can catch you. See if we can catch you out.
De pequeña, Sonsoles era un gran gimnasta, corría muy rápido, pero un buen día le dijo por completo porque en realidad no le gustó la competición.
Yep. Now that's fine. She was a great gymnast. She ran very quickly, but one day she stopped competing because really, I use the imperfect here. Le gustaba.
Gustavo, I know I was confused
we,
a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it relates to a feeling in the past.
Yeah,
that was my thoughts anyway.
Would you say no? Gustaba.
Yeah, I also thought no. Ella le gustaba.
Well, we know who it is, so I don't think we need to identify the person. I don't think there's any need for that. We'll get it in the context, don't we?
Okay.
No le gustaba. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miss sorry.
So, carry on. No.
Mis abuelos se conocieron en 1933.
Well done.
Y se casaron 2 años más tarde. Eran muy jóvenes los dos. Mi abuelo tenía solo 20 años y mi abuela 18.
Good, well done, perfect. You got the date. They're always a head scratcher. So yeah, mixture of preterite and imperfect there. Casarse, to be married, is one of the verbs that spark the preterite. You should be married. I guess they think you should be married once, and that's it. It's done. Not always the way these days.
Eric, could I ask
Excellent.
one question? Eric,
yes, of course, Ken. Yeah.
Can I go back to the very first one? And I don't understand why the second, where we said wasn't estuvo. In other words, it wasn't a preterite. Because you said yesterday, it's a time, went to bed early, and then the fact is, they were he was tired. Why did you use aber there, please?
Well,
is it a state?
I looked at this. When I looked at this, I thought
I struggled with that.
It's yeah. No, I see you're thinking. I thought it's imperfect because it's a feeling. You know, she was feeling tired. But then I thought, but it's also an interrupted action. Yes. So in the past, she was feeling tired. Then she went to bed. So it's the interrupting action that's in the preterite, and the ongoing action that was in the imperfect. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm still not sure
But
whether it qualifies under 2 rules
No,
or just
I
the
didn't want
one.
I didn't want to go on too long about it, but just in general, I found this whole exercise quite difficult. Therefore, that was just one example where, you know, I'm at variance with what's been said, but that's okay. I understand.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry.
I think you'll find it easier, Ken. Just keep plugging away at it.
Oh, yeah, I will.
I think you're chipping away at it.
Yeah.
I think it will become
Right.
more instinctive. Sorry, Bryn. Yeah.
If you say in English, you was tired, you don't define any time limit on it. It's just a state that you were in.
True.
So surely it must be the imperfect.
So this is the was and the were test.
Sorry?
Yeah.
The was and the were test, Bryn. Your test is was and were, isn't it?
Was and were, that's right, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
My test, yeah. I was trying to read that when you said that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Could I ask something about number 3?
Yeah. Mi padre.
Because I had, after durante mucho tiempo, I put that in the imperfect, no podía, because I thought it went on for a long time. But is that not right?
No, I think that should be in the preterite. For a long time, he was not able to write, but he's it's that past action has been completed. So I think, you know, there's no question of it being ongoing.
Okay.
I think the thing with these is that there is an element of a doubt about some of them, and we really want to be understood. We want to get the grammar right, but we really want to be understood, and we're certainly going to be understood. And slip it in the odd preterite instead of imperfect. It's not a hanging offence. The Spanish Inquisition won't be round to get you. So, Jill, seeing as you're in the top chair now, do you want to carry on with number 6, Gustavo y yo?
Gustavo y yo tuvimos que contratar a un arquitecto para reformar la casa porque estaba en muy malas condiciones.
Yep, that's good.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Hang on.
Sorry, it carries on. Sorry.
It goes on.
It goes on.
El baño no tenía puerta, la cocina era muy antigua y las habitaciones no tenían apenas luz.
Good. Yeah. Bang on. Bang on.
Okay. Vosotros sufristeis un accidente de coche hace 2 años, ¿no? Menos mal que no pasó a vosotros nada. Era un milagro porque tú no llevabas puesto el cinturón de seguridad. I wasn't too sure about these ones.
Okay. So you've got a couple different to me. Preterite for the first one, sure. The second one, you got the preterite, but it's reflexive. So you need the os. You need the pronoun in there. Os, no paso, nada. Fue un milagro. It was a miracle. I think that's you know, a statement of fact in the past, and it's finished. Preterite for that. But you were not wearing your seatbelt is imperfect. Hang on. Okay.
En 99 yo vivía en París y allí descubrí que mi pasión era el cine. Iba todos los días y veía una película. Got that wrong as well.
No, that's
No.
fine. Sorry, my wife's just showing me. Suzanne's having trouble getting online. Yeah. En el 99 yo viví en Paris. I think it's he or she lived in Paris in 99, and it's done. And they discovered that their passion was the cinema. Now, presumably that passion still is ongoing, or it could be, so imperfect. They used to go, so we've now got repeated actions in the past. Yeah, so we've got imperfect for both of those. Good, good. What have we got? Two more.
Is that me again?
Yeah, unless you're going on strike, Jill. I don't.
Cuando me enteré de que Ernesto estaba enfermo, me trasladé a Sevilla y lo cuidé durante 3 meses hasta que mejoró.
Good. Bang on.
Good. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is really long. I did these.
Yes, it was describes a night out to remember, doesn't it?
Nosotros salimos anoche hasta las tantas. Estaba en 5 o 6 bares.
So I'd use the preterite for there. Estuvimos. They went in 5 or 6 bars.
Yeah.
So it's part of the action last night. It's finished.
Anoche,
Yeah. So estuvimos,
No,
preterite. Yeah.
Estar, not who, not here. They were in.
Yeah.
last night.
But they were there last night, and it's gone. Yeah, it's finished. Yeah, it's part of last night's actions. Yeah.
So it's what
I'll put them all up at the end. That's probably the best thing, isn't it?
Lo pasó muy bien. Al final entramos en una discoteca, pero nos fuimos enseguida porque pusieron música techno. Había, oh God, I don't think I've written this down properly. Demasiada gente y el ambiente no nos gustaba a nosotros. Probably don't need that. Decidimos cambiar de lugar y encontramos un sitio estupendo donde bailamos el resto de la noche.
Yep. Okay. Let's have a look at that. So we've got that keyword anoche, which gives us the big clue for the first sentence. So they went out. Preterite, salimos, estuvimos, 5 or 6 bars. It passed well. So that's preterite, isn't it? Clearly. Finally, we entered a disco, but we
left straight away.
Yeah, because they were playing techno music. So we've got this interplay here between the imperfect and the preterite. So there's two actions being described in the past. They were playing techno music, so we left immediately. So the ongoing action is in the imperfect. The interrupting action, if you like, is in the preterite. And then we have there weren't many people in the atmosphere, and no atmosphere, so they didn't like it. And again, we've got this interaction between the two. I think the rest of it is preterite, is simply a straightforward report of what they did, which was all last night, and it's all completed, isn't it? They decided to change places. They found a great place where they danced for the rest of the night. So it's all the preterite. Sorry, my dog's just off for her afternoon walk. So, I was waving to my wife, not the dog. So yeah, it is a tricky one, and it's this interplay between the ongoing action and the interrupting actions, which is a bit of a. Yeah. Have we got questions about that bit of the homework? Those, or is everybody understands it completely, or doesn't care anymore, one or the other? Well done. It is quite tough. Should we do another one of these next week? Just to, I think, yeah. Let's have another. Let's have another one. See how we get on with those. Okay, we're going to move on to puedes decir. We've got Bryn next up in the frame. We should have asked Beryl this one, really, being a former GP. She would know. No. But Bryn, puedes decir tres síntomas de resfriado?
Sí. Coriander de Nares.
Okay.
En extremis, morir. Shivering.
Toss is good, yeah.
Tosando.
Yeah.
How many was there?
Three. You've got three symptoms. Yeah. Something there. Yes. Yeah. I'm not sure that your nose running around your face is going to.
Well, mine does anyway. And my feet start smelling.
Can anybody suggest any other symptoms of a cold?
Duele la garganta.
Yeah, dolor de garganta, sí.
Yeah.
Tener mocos.
Sí. That certainly is. Any other suggestions?
Dolor de cabeza.
Dolor de cabeza, sí. Muy bien. These are the ones that I could think of off the top of my head. Un dolor de cabeza, una nariz tapada, blocked nose, una nariz que mosquea, which is a runny nose.
Fiebre.
Fiebre is fever, alta temperatura, tos, dolor de garganta, and catarro. There may be others. Any other suggestions?
Yeah, una nariz roja.
That's not a cold. That's the Spanish brand. Good.
Estornudando.
Sneezing. Yeah, good one. Yeah. Estornudando. Good one. I'll add that to the list. Okay, super. What have we got next? Puedes decir 3 prendas de ropa que utilizamos en invierno. 3 types of clothing that you would wear during the winter. John, have you got any suggestions?
El abrigo, la sombrero y los botas.
Botas, yeah. Okay, yeah. Anybody else got
guantes.
guantes? Good one. Gloves, yes. What was the other one?
Gora.
Bufanda. Bufanda. See. Gora.
Abrigo.
Abrigo.
Bufando.
Suéter.
Suéter. See.
Impermeable.
Impermeable, yes. Waterproof, yes, yes.
Bufanda. Yeah.
Did you say bufando? Have we had the bufando?
Bufanda. Una
We've had it.
bufanda.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they don't say Wellington boots, they say botas de agua. Good. So, last one. Puedes decir 5 marcadores de frecuencia. So, does everybody know what we're talking about here?
No.
No.
Does that mean seasons?
Marks of frequency. So, por ejemplo, siempre.
Muchas veces.
A veces o muchas veces, sí. ¿Algo más?
Todos los días.
Sí, todos los días, todos los años, sí.
A menudo.
A menudo, muy bien.
Casi nunca.
Casi nunca, sí.
Cada día.
Cada día, yeah. Each day. I think you've probably got most of them. These are the ones that came to mind for me. We've got a few more that I hadn't got. Raramente, rarely. Did we say nunca? Never?
Yeah, you said casi nunca.
Casi nunca, sí. A veces, a menudo, normalmente. Well done. So it's verb time now, and let's have a crack. We get most of these are green now. We're doing quite well, aren't we? That's good. So we've got 2 more this week. I decided to do contar and llamar. So contar. Paul, are you you can hear us and can we hear you? It's a big question.
I don't know, can you?
Oh yes, we can.
Good.
Yeah.
It's cuento, cuentas, cuenta, contamos, contáis, cuentan.
Muy bien, that's great. Yeah. And what about this sentence? Puedes traducir.
Puedes contarlos I don't know what things is. They all-
Dedos.
Dado.
Dedos.
Sorry, say again.
Yeah,
Dedos.
dedos.
They're on a mano. Yeah.
So I did this a slightly different way. I did se puede. Are you able? Is one able to?
Yeah.
Contarlos con los dedos de una
Una
mano.
mano.
Yeah. Puedes would be fine. Yeah. Good. So I think just wanted to have a look at contar in a bit more detail. It's used quite frequently in the imperative to say tell me. I mean, it does mean to count, literally to count, or to add up, or to tell. And the to imperative form is cuenta. In the formal, it would be cuente. It's used in lots of colloquial phrases in the Spanish language. Cuéntame cómo te va la vida, which sort of translates to tell me how are things going with life, but basically tell me how things are going. Aquí no cuento para nada. I count for nothing here. So that lo que cuenta es, what matters is. So cuenta as meaning to matter. Con esto no contaba. I thought you might like a bit of imperfect here. I thought you might be getting withdrawal symptoms after not seeing the imperfect for a couple of slides. So I hadn't reckoned with that. Con esto no contaba. He has 2 hours to do it. Cuenta con 2 horas para hacerlo. And another sort of colloquial greeting. ¿Qué cuentas? How are you doing? So we'll put those in the lesson notes. So llamar, Susan Little.
Sí. Yo llamo. Yo llamo, tú llamas, tú llamas, nosotros llamamos, vosotros llamáis, ellos llaman.
Good, well done. We're quite used to llamar, aren't we? Because
me llamo.
well, let's not worry about llamar. So the conjugation is the same. It's just the pronouns that are different. So we use me llamo, te llamas, se llama quite often, don't we? Okay. How would you say this sentence? I have someone else on the line. I'll call you in a few minutes.
Tengo algún en línea, media. I'll have to. Tengo que llamar en unos minutos.
Yeah.
Llamarte.
I think that was a bit like Eric Morecambe. He got all the right words, not necessarily in the right places. But actually, you were 95% there, Susan. I'm being a bit mean to you. Tengo otra persona en la línea.
Tendré que.
I said tendré que, so I've used the future tense there. I think you could easily say use ir to create the future tense. I'm going to call you back We could say,
minutos.
I could say, voy a llamarte en unos minutos. Or we can, llamarte, we can hook the pronoun on the end of the infinitive verb, of course.
Sarah, can I ask a question on that, please? Is it true that sometimes they just use the current
Present
tense?
tense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. I call you.
Yeah.
Tengo que.
I could just say, I call you back. Yeah.
That is accepted.
It is.
Yes.
It is. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's quite common to use in Spanish to use the present tense to describe something
Immediate
that you're
future.
going to do very, very soon. So yeah, you'd probably you would very likely hear it spoken in the present tense. It's a bit confusing, isn't it? But when you're in a Spanish-speaking country, you'd pick up these little quirks quite easily. Something that's impossible to say how you should do it in class and learn in a class. But when you're there and everybody's doing it, it just becomes part of the accepted grammar. And it is. You're quite right, Ken. It is perfectly good. Okay, so we often use llamar in the imperative as well to say call me. The to form is llama and the usted form is llame. You can hook the you can hook the pronoun on the end of the conjugated verb when we're using the imperative. That's the one exception, the positive imperative. If you're saying don't call me, you can't. You have to say no me llama. No me llame. It changes, doesn't it? Annoying. Anyway, llamame would be call me. And in the past tense, simple past tense, preterite, llamé, I called, and he, she, or it called is llamó. So worth remembering those bits. Okay, I thought you'd be getting a bit bored with the preterite and the imperfects. I thought, what should we do? Shall we throw another past tense in? Is that a good idea? I asked myself. I want to just talk to you about the past progressive tense. We use it a lot in English. We use the present progressive in English a great deal as well. In fact, we use it more than the simple present tense. We don't say I go to the shops. We say I am going to the shops. We often say I went to the shops, but also we'd say I was going to the shops to describe something happening when something else happens. Maybe I was going to the shops when I met Margaret, that kind of thing. So let's have a look at the past progressive in Spanish. What were you up to this morning? ¿Qué estabas haciendo esta mañana? I was cleaning the house. Estaba limpiando la casa. And if you're doing two things, estaba limpiando la casa y planchando. So how are we going to create this tense? Let's just take a look. Leap over that for the time being. So to create the past progressive, take the verb estar in the imperfect. You know, when we're doing the present progressive, we use estar in the present tense, followed by the gerund, the ing form of the verb. Well, just the same to create the past progressive, but we use estar in the imperfect plus the present participle of the verb describing the action. So those are our conjugations for estar in the imperfect: estaba, estabas, estaba, estabamos, estabais, estaban. And then the present participle. The present participle is pretty easy to generate. So you simply take the verb stem, and if it's an AR verb, you add ando, and if it's an IR verb or an ER verb, you add iendo. So limpiar, an AR verb, becomes limpiando. Correr, an ER verb, becomes corriendo. And vivir, an IR verb, becomes viviendo. There are a few exceptions. Ir is always irregular, isn't it? Wherever it is. And that becomes yendo. And leer, leendo, caer, cayendo. I can't think of any others off the top of my head. There probably are a few, but you could always Google irregular gerunds in Spanish. But in general, once you know the way to create the gerund, you can use this a lot to talk about things that happened in the past, and it does save a lot of conjugation. My son uses it all the time as a bit of a cheat. Quite often he uses it incorrectly, which annoys his wife, although she doesn't bother to correct him anymore. It doesn't annoy me, and I do know what he's talking about. So if you believe that language is there to communicate, you might, like my son, want to grab this little helpful lifeline and use it correctly and incorrectly to let people know what you want to say. If you think that language is there to be mastered and understood and used correctly, then use this correctly, but you can't just use it willy-nilly, because like a lot of dodges, it will only take you so far. So use it to replace the imperfect, use it to replace any past tense if you want to, but of course you'll be wrong quite often, grammatically wrong quite often. And you only have to know the conjugations of estar in the imperfect plus the gerund. And of course another imperfect dodge, which I've talked about quite a bit, is to use soler in the imperfect together with the infinitive verb to say that you used to do something. So solía ir al cine todos los sábados. I used to go to the cinema every Saturday, or he used to go to the cinema every Saturday. That's another useful little dodge to talk about things that you used to do. As I say, it doesn't cover every eventuality. It's important to learn the verb conjugations. in the imperfect, as these cheats and dodges will only take you so far. And it's also, I guess, important to learn when you should use the preterite and when you should use the imperfect. And just going back a couple of slides. Oh, sorry, I keep yawning. I explained to the morning class, I was yawning in the morning class. My dog woke me up at 5 o'clock this morning. If it's not the dawn chorus, it's the dog waking me up. So I could really do with a siesta. Let's just go back to here. So this is another action that comes afterwards. I was cleaning the house and ironing, then I went shopping. Same rules, use the preterite to describe the interrupting action. Estaba limpiando la casa y planchando. Luego fui de compras.
Eric?
Yes.
Is it always imperfect plus gerund, or you can use other tenses?
No, it's if you want to create the past progressive, what you're saying essentially is I was running, I was ironing, I was cleaning. So use it in the same sense that we'd use it in English, and it's perfectly good grammar in Spanish. But you'd always use the imperfect form of estar to create it. If you want to.
So that means it is replacing the imperfect tense.
Yeah.
By using estaba and gerund.
Yeah, in some cases it can be. Yeah. You could say, you know, what were you doing this morning? I was walking in the park. You could use it just to sort of describe an action that was happening this
estaba
morning.
caminando or caminaba, both are same.
Caminando. Yeah. Essentially, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Indeed. Let me just grab my phone. I just want to check where we are. Sorry about that. Good. So it's a useful little thing, and it's hard to take in just seeing a few slides like that. But we'll try and use it because it is a useful thing to have. So is the Solia dodge. I use that one all the time. So we'll set some questions for homework, and we'll use a few of those for homework as well. Good. So, Crimen en Barcelona. I can't spell Barcelona, can I? Barcelona. I must get my fingers into trim. So we've got the stories moving forward. Miguel and Anna have gone to Valencia for a weekend break. They're in a cabin in the woods. Enrique and Lena have also gone to Valencia for the weekend, but they're staying in Felipe's mansion, so they're having a slightly more comfortable time with it, with all their servants and fancy things. So shall we read chapter 52 and translate that? So Julie, would you read the first
Paragraph?
First paragraph, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. And who's not been yet? Apple, have you been yet?
No.
No, okay. Maybe you translate.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. El domingo, Ana y Miguel se despiertan renovados. Se levantan muy temprano y comen un desayuno de campo. Después de desayunar, conversan unos minutos sobre el caso de Felipe. Debemos regresar temprano para no perderlos de vista, le dice Ana a Miguel. Si dejamos pasar algunos días más, podemos perderles el rastro. Ellos ya sospechan que los estamos siguiendo, agregó Ana. Miguel la escucha con atención y piensa, ¿dónde estaron ahora?
Good. You?
Sunday, Anna and Miguel woke renewed. They got up very early and ate breakfast outside. After breakfasting, they talked for several minutes about Felipe's case. We must go back early so that we don't lose any time.
Perderlos de vista. We don't lose sight of them. Is that right? Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Anna said to Miguel, see the house. If we stay several days more, we could lose the trail.
Yeah.
They already suspect that we are following them.
Yep.
Added Anna. Miguel listened with attention and thought, where are they now?
Yep, perfect. So, Beryl, could you take up the reading of this to the end?
Yep.
And Sue Gockel, would you be able to translate? Is that okay?
En este momento, Lina y Enrique también están en Valencia. Ambos están disfrutando de la casa de fin de semana de Felipe. Es el único lugar en el que sienten seguros. Como hace mucho calor, pasan todo el domingo en la piscina de la mansión. Por la tarde beben algunos daiquiris y miran una película. Finalmente, a las 7:30 de la tarde, se preparan para regresar a Barcelona. Toman la carretera principal y suben a la autopista. A las 8 de la tarde, Ana y Miguel también están a punto de regresar a Barcelona.
Coffee.
Justo antes de salir, Miguel recibe un llamado en su celular. Es Aldo.
Thank you. Perfect.
In that moment, Luna and Enrique are also in Valencia. Both are enjoying the weekend in the house of Philippe. It's the only place they feel safe. I'm lost now. I haven't done the rest of it. I've only done that bit.
Have you? All right.
I'm lazy.
I don't know. Been caught out there. Tony, would you be able to pick up?
Sure.
Como has
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can perfectly.
Yeah. As it's very hot. They spend all day Sunday in the swimming pool at the house. In the afternoon, they drink some, and I don't know what that drink is actually. Daiquiris.
Daiquiri. We say daiquiri, wouldn't we?
What is it?
I don't know what goes into it.
I couldn't work out what it was.
Bryn will be able to tell us what's in a daiquiri.
No, I've given up drinking.
Yeah, I just like bed and breakfast these days. Brandy and Benedictine. Anyway, and watch a movie. Finally, at 7:30 p.m. They prepared to return to Barcelona. They took the main road. They take the main road to and go up the motorway.
Yep.
At 8 p.m., Anna and Miguel also are about to return to Barcelona. Just before they leave, Miguel receives a call on his mobile. It's Aldo.
So I think we're going to reach a conclusion very, very soon. I think there's 6 chapters to go, isn't there? So not far. I put down a couple of interesting words and phrases there. I think that they make things that might prove to be useful. And a new verb, aprovechar, which I've not seen before, but to take advantage of. It might be one that you can drop in to a sentence. Suzanne, nice to see you. I'm glad you could get onto the call. I don't know.
Thank you. Yes.
So, any questions about today's lesson? No?
And Eric, one thing, when you put the notes out, please,
yeah,
you very kindly put the difference between the preterite and the infinitive. Could you read them again? If there's one or two more why you've structured that, could you just I can understand why you've split them the way you, please?
Yes, please. That would be great.
Yeah.
On the homework answers.
Yeah, if you can explain why it's like that, if that's not too laborious for you, I'd appreciate that. One or two of them anyway. You were talking us through
I put some in blue. Do you mean like that?
Yeah, you were talking us through it when it was continued, like you've done there. If you could do that, that would be extremely helpful, please.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll do that in the lesson notes. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
It's it. You'll soon get used to working this out. It's just it always seems confusing at first, and
I did get used to it,
and
Eric,
the
but I
fog
got
slowly
them wrong.
clears. Yeah. And it's nice to have one of our party actually in Spain, the chance to speak to some real Spaniards, even if it is in the wrong language. Susan,
Catalan.
They'll be talking Catalan. They won't want to speak
It's
Spanish.
the Catalan aquí.
Yeah, all vosotros.
They won't want that.
Eric?
Yes, Mandela.
Yeah, normally Spanish people speak which of the past tenses, normal conversations and that kind of thing. Is it preterite or imperfect or?
Preterite and imperfect, but you'd also find
all combinations.
Yeah.
Gosh,
afraid so.
there are too many of them.
Well, you do it. When you're speaking English. When did you learn English, Mandela? When you were? Did you learn it as a child, or did you learn it
about 8 or 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you've absorbed English at an early age. And,
well, it took a while because it was just the second language, and the rest of the study was in the mother tongue. So I think till I went to university, I couldn't speak much.
But now
you understood, yeah.
You just absorbed all the rules, and you don't give it a second thought now. And it's the same in Spanish. You just need to. You just need to spend 8 years learning Spanish and go to university in Spain, and you'll be fine. That's it. Yeah. I mean, the answer is they do use all forms of
all of them
past tense. Yeah. But
and plus some conditional, and and they all are in all the tenses, aren't they?
Yes. That's right. And but there's subjunctive as well too, which is a whole new world. But it's we're a bit above the stage where we just want to order a beer or get a hotel room or a table for two.
Y disfrute.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we
enjoy.
So we should we should try to get it. But as I say, my son gets by perfectly well speaking a variety of botched past tenses, and he seems to be understood perfectly well everywhere. So no, but I never hear anybody correcting his Spanish except his wife.
Mi hijo hizo una mezcla de catalán y castellano. There's a mixture of Catalan.
Yeah. And of course, my grandchildren come up with some brilliant combinations of English and Spanish together. And you often hear Julia trying to think how to conjugate an English verb in the Spanish way, and after a minute she realizes that it doesn't work like that, and she's off again. So it's wonderful to do it. But I'm full of admiration for people in this class who've learned second languages. There's lots of you. Mangala has done it. Suzanne has done it. And you learned German first, which people say German's the most complicated language around. And you got that and then found English stuff. So it's just a question of experience and practice, isn't it? Just keep plugging away.
At the moment, I find the tenses really, really difficult. But where it's helped me is because I love reading, and now reading, I understand the stories much better, because I would look at the word and think, what the heck does that mean? I'd look it all up. Now I know it's just a different form of a verb. Helps with that.
Good. Okay, great. So no lesson next week. We're having a week's break. I will set some homework. I'll send the lesson notes round later on, and I'll see you all in a fortnight's time.
Yeah.
Happy holidays, Susan.
Yeah.
Gracias.